knows every shadow like a lover's name. Her steps a rhythm, a deadly game. Fingers chase the edge of time. She rewrites the world, one line at a time.
Chapter 11, Sapphire Horizon. The safe house van carved through Delhi's morning snarl like a blunt knife through monsoon-soaked cloth, persistent but ragged, scraping against the edges of traffic that refused to yield. Vikram gripped the wheel with white-knuckled focus, his eyes darting between the rearview mirror and the chaotic flow ahead. Auto rickshaws darting like yellow hornets, lumbering Ashok Leyland buses belching diesel, scooters threading impossible gaps with inches to spare. Every honk, every sudden swerve amplified the tension humming in the cargo hold behind the partition. Ananya sat cross-legged on the vibrating metal floor. Her back braced against a humming equipment crate that rattled with each pothole. Sweat beaded on her forehead despite the feeble AC, mixing with the faint metallic tang of neural dart residue still clinging to her coveralls. Across from her, Arvind Saran slumped against the opposite wall, his once impeccable shirt now clinging damply to his frame, dark patches blooming under the arms. The drop from his third-floor office window had left a purple bruise blooming across his ribs. He pressed a hand there intermittently, wincing with each breath. No one spoke for the first 10 minutes. The silence stretched taut, broken only by the external symphony. Horns blaring defiance, vendors shouting from roadside carts, the distant wail of an ambulance slicing through the din, and the low crackle of Vikram's police scanner, tuned to Raw's internal frequencies. Static bursts hinted at escalating chaos back at Lodi Road. Third floor secure. Anomaly in Saran's office. Possible breach. Ananya broke it first, her voice low and measured, cutting through the rumble like a blade. 2 hours, Arvind. That's your realistic window before they triangulate the darts, the shattered glass, the missing drive from your terminal. Raw's forensic IT will reconstruct every frame. Choose your words when they haul you in, because they will haul you in. Saran lifted his head slowly, eyes bloodshot but piercing. The neural sedative dulling his body but honing his fatalism into something razor-edged. Haul me in? You've painted me as the architect of national sabotage. My pension evaporates. My family gets the shame. What story saves a man who handed kill codes to a fugitive and her SVR puppet master? Tell the truth, Ananya said flatly, her gaze unyielding. Or the version that forces a real investigation instead of a quiet cover-up. Malhotra's debrief already backs your coercion angle. Hargrove's handlers squeezed his son first, then funneled demands through you as the reliable cutout. Frame it as coerced survival, not ideological treason. They might let you fade into a Goa villa with a full pension instead of a Tihar cell. He snorted, a bitter puff that carried no humor, his hand pressing harder against his side as the van lurched over a cratered speed bump. Coercion. As if Washington needed to twist arms we hadn't already extended willingly. They promised clarity, a world where Delhi stops this exhausting pirouette between Moscow's leaky gas pipelines, Beijing's debt traps, and Washington's ever-tightening sanctions. Leverage wasn't apocalypse. It was the wake-up call our politicians ignored. And nearly crashing the Sensex, wiping out millions in phantom trades, was the alarm clock? Ananya countered, her voice steady but laced with ice. Real lives as collateral for your clarity? Pharma shipments rotting in Chennai ports, while cancer patients waited? The van shuddered again, tires hissing over loose gravel. Saran winced, breath hitching. Collateral, that's the game we all play, Ananya. You think your little Russian alliance comes without its own body count? Ask the Ukrainians about SVR clarity. Her phone buzzed sharply against her thigh, a secure vibration that cut the air like a knife. Irina's message, triple encrypted, urgent, leverage remnants activating. Hargrove's contractors spinning leaks. India-Russia cyber axis targets U.S. infrastructure. Your Meera Patel face in cutout reports to Langley allies. Lodi full lockdown, Saran's office sealed. 3 mid-level arrests already. Vasant Kunj rendezvous in 20. We end this with teeth, or it bites back. Ananya's thumbs flew. Cargo secured, bringing the architect for final signing. Clean drop viable? Viable but narrow. SVR perimeter assets inbound. Watch for tails. Hargrove's ghosts are desperate. Saran caught the screen's glow reflecting in her eyes. Cargo. Is that what 30 years of service reduces me to? A data mule for your shadow war? Better than dead weight sinking the ship, Ananya replied coolly. You chose sides long before Frankfurt. Now choose an exit that doesn't drag the rest of us down with you. Vikram's voice crackled from the front, tense. Mirrors clean so far, but Lodi chatters hot. They're scrambling vehicles. Description matches our profile vaguely. Picking up speed. The tension coiled tighter, the van's engine whining as Vikram pushed it harder. Weaving through a snarl of cycle rickshaws and pedestrians spilling onto the arterial. The Sant Kunj unfolded like a mirage of curated middle-class aspiration. Gleaming gated societies with razor wire crowns and manicured hedges. Artisanal coffee shops spilling the scent of filter brews onto cracked sidewalks. IT hubs masquerading as village clusters with names like Cybergreen's Phase 3. The fallback site crouched above a dingy pharmacy on a narrow side street, the sort peddling generic paracetamol, dubious herbal tonics, and beetle-stained counters to locals who eyed branded chains with suspicion. The second-floor flat, leased under a shell importing organic wellness supplements from Kerala, had windows tinted against the relentless sun, blinds drawn tight. Irina Volkov yanked the door open before Ananya's knuckles met wood. Her frame silhouetted by the harsh blue flicker of multiple laptop screens bleeding into the dim interior. Sleeves rolled to elbows, revealing faint SVR tattoos. Hair knotted in a utilitarian bun, streaked with premature gray. She looked more battle-hardened engineer than polished spy, except for the eyes, cold and predatory under layers of fatigue. Her gaze flicked from Ananya to Saran, assessing in an instant. You collected the full set. Impressive, even for your brand of chaos. For now, Ananya said, shoving Saran inside with a firm hand on his shoulder. He stumbled slightly, the sedative and drop still sapping his balance. Vikram peeled off to the cramped kitchen, firing up a secondary tablet to monitor perimeter cams. The main room was a stripped-down nerve center, reeking of instant coffee and overheated electronics. Plain white walls scarred by previous tenants' hooks. Scarred folding table buckling under the weight of laptops, external RAID drives, and tangled power strips snaking like exposed veins across the linoleum floor. 2 SVR analysts, young, intense Eastern Europeans with hollow cheeks and glowing headsets, hunched over consoles, murmuring clipped Russian into mics, while screens scrolled tacket captures and geospatial heat maps. Irina poured steaming chai from a battered thermos into dented steel tumblers, the rich aroma of cardamom and cloves cutting the stale air. She slid one to Saran, who accepted it with trembling hands that betrayed his unraveling facade. Drink. You look like you've seen the ghosts you summoned. I've become one, he muttered, sipping gingerly, the hot liquid scalding his throat. She tapped her main ultra-wide screen, pulling up the exposure package, a digital thermonuclear arsenal, Hargrove's original concept paper annotated with redacted CIA stamps. Leverage node maps cross-referenced against Frankfurt manifests and Malhotra's timelines. Audio snippets from intercepted handler calls time-stamped to Saran's shifts. PDFs bled damning detail. Tasking emails with his initials in the CC. Override confirmations executed during his night shifts. Even a heat map of his terminal login spiking during key leverage test phases. This goes live on neutral platforms in T-30, Irina said, her finger hovering over enter. Primary WikiLeaks mirrors dark web archives firewalled against takedowns, encrypted dead drops to Bardian investigative desks, Al Jazeera's cyber unit, and 3 Delhi independents who've burned us before without flinching. No SVR watermarks, no RAW seals, just the raw architecture, US. Economic warfare dressed as strategic recalibration, with Indian insiders as the willing conduits. Saran scrolled the files, his face draining to ashen gray at the most incriminating pages. Emails where he'd greenlit test anomalies in BSE pre-opened systems, override logs funneling port data to Meridian proxies. His hand shook, spilling chai onto the table. This buries me alive. My career, my name, my family's name. Buries the lie. Irina cut in sharply, slamming her tumbler down. Hargrove's doctrine stripped naked for what it is, predatory recalibration aimed at every BRICS challenger from Mumbai to Johannesburg. Your role exposed as mid-level enabler, not shadowy mastermind. India's near miss as ground zero, but not the endgame. Ananya leaned in, voice low and urgent. One final move seals it, Arvind. Authorize the drop to a raw terminal. Your credentials timestamp it as internal whistleblower. ISIS ironclad deniability gives the package instant street cred amid the spin. He stared at the screen, fingers hovering inches from the keyboard Vikram had patched in. A secure tunnel to a ghosted Lodi Road node, ironically, one of Saran's own legacy backdoors. The room held its collective breath, tickers blinking market futures, server fans whirring like anxious breaths, distant Delhi traffic murmuring through the thin window pane like an approaching storm. Sweat trickled down Saran's temple, his eyes darted, calculating odds, weighing legacies, glimpsing the abyss. Seconds clawed into a minute, then a sharp nod. Do it. Better my hand ends it than theirs. Vikram initiated the tunnel. Saran hammered codes, fingers steadier now, the progress bar crawling agonizingly. 47%, 72%, 98%. Files dispersed in a cascade. Blockchain-anchored dumps scattering to mirrors worldwide. Journalist inboxes pinging in London, Doha, Delhi. Irina's secondary array erupted. Live, #leverage leak exploding on X, 50K impressions in 60 seconds. Reuters alert, unconfirmed docs detail US cyber op targeting emerging markets. Sensex futures spiking plus 1.8% on stabilized risk sentiment. Hargrove's spin doctor scrambling. Saran slumped back, exhaling like a man surfacing from drowning. Now I'm radioactive, untouchable. Not yet, Ananya said, clapping his shoulder. Half solidarity, half warning. Raw brass wants your testimony in a controlled room. No leaks to press. Vikram escorts, scripts the entry. Play the patriot who turned. He rose unsteadily, dignity fraying but intact. Tell them I chose country over illusory alignments. They'll polish it into legend, or infamy. Vikram led him out into the hallway, door clicking shut behind them. Irina turned to Ananya, a rare wolfish smile cracking her fatigue. Neatly scripted purge. Saran walks with pension and a quiet villa. His underlings take the ritual fall. Langley ties itself in knots with denials. Delhi plays innocent victim. Textbook shadowcraft. Textbook enough, Ananya replied, sinking into a creaking chair, the adrenaline crash hitting like a wave. Hargrove's status. Grounded hard, Irina said, pulling up a classified Langley chatter intercept. Gulfstream diverted mid-air to a Nevada black site. Groom Lake adjacent. No tourist maps. Logs scrubbed cleaner than a surgeon's scalpel. Her contractors fracturing at the seams. Nodes ghosting dark, shredding docks in panic. Leverage 2.0 sits on ice. Doctrine dissected by congressional watchdogs. The room fell into weighted silence, broken only by cooling fans and the muffled pulse of Vasant Kunj's afternoon life outside. Tension lingered like smoke, victory fragile, enemies adaptive. Nightfall draped Delhi in a neon quiltwork, sodium streetlights bleeding into monsoon haze, food carts glowing under LED halos like roadside beacons, elevated flyovers thrumming with endless rivers of taillights. Ananya perched at a wrought iron table on a house-cost village rooftop cafe, fairy lights strung overhead like captive constellations, amid the bohemian thrum. Laughter bubbling from hookah circles, acoustic guitars strumming Bollywood covers, the sizzle of tandoori kebabs wafting up from below. She nursed a tumbler of black coffee gone lukewarm, phone propped discreetly against a napkin holder, screen feeding a live torrent. BBC breaking. Mystery leaks expose alleged U.S. cyber campaign targeting BRICS trade corridors. Al Jazeera Live. India-Russia economic near-miss, deliberate sabotage or systemic flaw. NDTV ticker. Market stabilizes amid technical relief. Government sources deny foreign interference. Vow probe. Sensex futures climbed 2.4%. Moscow Exchange whispered parallel gains. Even Johannesburg's JSE twitched upward. Hargrove's frantic spin. Rogue actors exploiting vulnerabilities. Drowned in the document deluge. Her contractors' leaks backfiring into self-incrimination. Irina's text pierced the stream. Division purge accelerating. 3 analysts detained overnight. 2 more on dawn raids. Sarin officially on administrative leave with full benefits intact. Brass convening emergency session, your name unspoken, but door cracked wide. SVR toasts Sapphire in back channels. Ananya's reply, they owe the truth more than me. Call it square. A shadow sliced across her table, deliberate. She looked up. Vikram, civilian polo shirt, untucked over jeans, balancing a steaming plate of momos and fiery chili garlic sauce. He slid into the opposite chair without invitation, popping a momo with casual defiance. Director's personal compliments, he said around the bite, sauce glistening on his chin. Quiet reinstatement package waiting. Black Ops track, clean slate on the gaps. No tribunals, no psyche vals. Your Goa villa stays in your name, untouchable. Ananya speared a momo, spice exploding sharp and vengeful on her tongue. And if refusal's on the table? He shrugged, grinned feral under the fairy lights. They anticipated. Door remains open, indefinitely, or vanish into sunset's freelance shadows. Raw adapts, it's what we do post-leverage. She chewed slowly, savoring the burn as house has pulsed around them. Couples whispering over craft beers, tourists snapping selfies with the lake ruins below. Distant call to prayer weaving through the din. Months ago, Raw had been her anchor. Bureaucratic labyrinth, brutal necessities, hers. Leverage as fire had scorched that bridge to ash, but embers birthed new paths, alliances transcending flags, shadows chosen over assigned. Tell them I'll deliberate, she said finally. Figured as much. Vikram replied, leaning in, voice dropping. Whispers in the corridors call you the indispensable anomaly. Post-leverage world's messier, new ghosts rising hourly. They need your edge. He melted back into the crowd, plate half empty. Ananya lingered, city lights fracturing in her coffee's black mirror. Cycles spun eternal, but she'd thrown grit into the gears, enough to slow, perhaps redirect. Dawn bled soft gold across Palam airstrip south of Delhi's sprawl. Grassy runways fringed by whispering eucalyptus groves. Distant metro lines humming early commuters like veins awakening. No bustling control tower, just a faded windsock limp in still air. Silent fueling rigs hunkered like sleeping beasts, chain-link perimeter humming faintly with current. Irina waited beside a sleek Citation jet, duffel at her feet. Sunglasses perched atop her head, revealing eyes shadowed by sleepless calculation. An SVR crest glinted discreetly on her jacket lapel, the jet's tail unmarked. Pure vector, no provenance. Delhi exhales, for now, Ananya said, pressing the neutralized kill codes drive into Irina's palm. Purge complete across 3 divisions, markets locked steady, Hargrove's echoes fading into think tank irrelevance. Irina pocketed it, fingers brushing Ananya's, a fleeting anchor. Moscow celebrates in shadows. SVR claims quiet credit for the quantum tools. BRICS cyber pacts accelerate on your anomaly as cautionary gospel. And us, Ananya asked, voice barely above the gathering engine whine. Irina's smile warmed genuine, cracking exhaustion. We curate our own shadows. No more fugitives, partners unbound. The jet's twin engines wind to life, a low thrum vibrating through the tarmac. No manifests filed, no destinations logged. Pure insertion vector into whatever horizon called. Ananya paused at the boarding stairs, turning for one last scan. Yamuna's haze veiling ancient domes, arterial traffic veins pulsing crimson life into the awakening megacity. Delhi, the forge that birthed her, betrayed her, now balanced in fragile equilibrium on truths she'd clawed free. Inside the leather-scented cabin, Irina decanted vodka from a battered flask into steel cups etched with faint Cyrillic. To Sapphire protocols, she toasted, glass raised. Fragile as the gem, unbreakable as the code. Clink, clear and resonant. To anomalies we embody, Ananya replied. The jet surged forward, asphalt blurring beneath. Delhi shrank to a glittering smear, horizon swallowing it whole. 6 months later, Goa. Ananya's cliffside villa clung to Arabian Sea bluffs like a defiant thought. Waves pulverizing rust-red laterite below, in endless, thunderous rhythm. salt wind carrying monsoon promise through louvered windows. Mornings unfolded in ritual. Yoga on terracotta terrace tiles, sun salutations tracing horizon's curve, body reclaiming strength stolen by months of flight. Afternoons dissolved into freelance consulting. Code firewalls for unseen bricks clients, anomaly detectors seeded across shadowed networks. Evenings summoned the microphone. Her voice, husky with layered tension, narrating the Sapphire Protocol's chapters into a velvet-draped home studio. Uploaded to YouTube under SEO-veiled tags blending fiction and veiled memoir. Subscribers metastasized. 10K curious souls to 75K devotees dissecting every inflection. Comments swirled in digital eddies. Born ex le carré, but real. Raw drop confirmed. Ananya Rao, Easter eggs everywhere. Who's listening? Silence was her armor. She never replied, letting the work echo unaided. Irina materialized quarterly, tourist guys fraying at edges, Fenny bottles clinking in duty-free bags. SVR updates whispered over cliffside sunsets. Latest dispatch, Hargrove exiled to Heritage Foundation lecterns, peddling resilience white papers laced with leverage echoes. New ghosts probe bricks' edges, subtler, hungrier. Good, Ananya murmured, waves crashing, underscore to their words. Let them chase our ghosts. One twilight, upload complete. Chapter 17 pulsing live, her terminal ping sharp. Anomaly packet inbound, bricks routing masked through Goa proxies, embedded code fragment mirroring dormant leverage signatures. Not active weapon. Probing tendril, testing waters. Fingers danced across keys, tracing origins, weaving countermeasures. The board never emptied. Eternal chess in shadowed realms. But now, every move was hers by sovereign choice. Sapphire gleamed eternal.
Her eyes burn cold, her touch ignites. She's the heartbeat in the dead.